Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on XRP. We're going to do a full update on XRP right here. We'll talk a lot about some fundamentals as well, but just in passing, right? I mean, obviously, or at least obviously, I think most of you are up to date with all the fundamental updates on XRP as well and Ripple. There's nothing major going on right now, and I do think major things are coming up. But there's nothing major to talk about right now, and there's also nothing major fundamentally influencing the price of XRP, except for general financial market fundamentals, of course, and we'll touch upon that in this video as well. Open interest is relatively flat yesterday, and Monday the volume obviously was quite high, but it's not that high that we expect any major moves coming from that, right? And I would actually say we had pretty high volume on Monday. Yesterday, the volume was actually quite low, and yesterday we did see a continued sell-off, of course, which was also to be expected. I mean, what we said yesterday, I think, when was that? I think yesterday in the morning. Yeah, I mean, we were already dropping, of course, when I dropped the video. We were at 2.22, 2.2, but what I said is that, it seems most likely we're going to drop down into that area around 2.15, maybe even the value area low right here at 2.07. So that has continued to happen. I think partially due to the technicals, just the technicals, right? I mean, XRP has been in some sort of a consolidation right here for the entirety of June, but then we also saw some de-risking going into the FOMC meeting, which is later tonight, which I will be live streaming, by the way. So hopefully I'll see you there. That's always a huge amount of fun, which you might not expect with Jerome Powell, but still. So that, and obviously yesterday the bearish fundamentals and some more tension or escalation in the Middle East, right? And that also has an effect on XRP. Someone commented yesterday why that has an effect on XRP, and I think that's a fair question, right? Because obviously it's quite strange that something like that affects a completely different market. But the truth is that right now the crypto market fundamentally is just very, very aligned with the general financial markets, right? I mean, the S&P 500 and Bitcoin over the last year have been incredibly correlated, and most cryptos are correlated to Bitcoin, right? So then you get kind of this ripple effect where general financial markets moves and things that affect the general financial markets will also affect XRP. Now, I do think that with the fundamentals of yesterday, XRP held up fairly well, right? I mean, we dropped down a little bit here, but ultimately we held 2.14. We're still trading above the levels we were trading at last week Friday, which is something that Bitcoin, Bitcoin can say that as well, but it was a little bit closer. So there's some relative strength for XRP here as well, which is great to see. So I expect that relative strength, and I expect that stability to continue. Now, I do think, in the light of the fundamentals, that we can push into the value area low. If we see some sort of major escalation, could we spike down lower? Certainly, right? So that is definitely something, if you want to trade in these market circumstances, something you have to take into account. And then most of the liquidity, if you zoom all the way out right here for XRP, you can see there's a bit of a liquidity hump right here at $2. So keep that in mind. Maybe even 1.9, but that seems a little bit low. So yeah, that is possible. Short-term de-risking, a continuation of the pattern we're seeing right now. I do expect, but I cannot be anything but relatively positive about XRP, given the strength we've seen so far, and given the potential fundamental developments for XRP when we're talking about the Ripple SEC case, and maybe later on in 2025 also an XRP ETF, right? So for now, stability, most likely, possible with a spike down lower if the fundamentals, if we get some bearish headlines, but mostly I expect stability, and then a continuation into 2.27, 2.28, and maybe a breakout. But that is something I'll leave for the future. For now, I think that's what you need to know. I think that's most important for today. So hopefully that helps. I'll see you all in my next videos. Take care and bye.